Hi, this is a lesson for Year 10 higher mathematicians. The topic is cumulative frequency, and this is lesson 1, median and quartiles from a frequency table. Now, the frequency table shows the number of goals scored by each of the 20 Premier League teams in one weekend. Explain how to use the frequency table to find the median number of goals scored and the upper and lower quartiles. Now, from previous lessons, when we've done this, we've taken the data and we've placed it in order from smallest to largest. We could do the same with this data here in the table. We could take it from the table and just lay it out. And just to save some time, that's exactly what I've done here. So we've got 5 teams who scored 0 goals, 6 teams who scored 1, 2 teams who scored 2 goals, 3 teams who scored 3, 2 teams who scored 4, and 2 teams who scored 5. And there we have it. So to find the median, we would find the middle value. In this case, there's actually 2 values in the middle, these ones here, which tells us that the median would be equal to 1. For the lower quartile, we would find the middle of the bottom half of the data, which happens to be this value here, okay, which would be the lower quartile. And for the upper quartile, we'd find the middle of the top half of the data, okay, which is this value here. Okay, let's make the upper quartile. Now, what we want to be able to do today is find these same things, but from the frequency table, without having to write all these values out in order from smallest to largest. I mean, yes, we've got 20 Premier League teams represented in this table, but a data set could contain 100, 200, 500 pieces of data, and we don't want to write all those out in order from smallest to largest. So we have to come up with another quicker way of doing it using just the frequency table. Well, the first step is going to be to put the data in order for the frequency table, and we do that using something called the cumulative frequency, which is basically just a running total of the frequencies as we go along. So we start off with 5, that's 5 teams who've scored 0 goals or less. And now we want to know the number of teams who've scored 1 goal or less, okay, which is going to be 6 who scored the 1 goal plus the 5 who scored 0 goals. So that's going to be 11. 5 plus 6 is 11. The number of teams who've scored 2 or less goals, well, it's going to be these 5 who've scored 0, 6 who scored 1, and the 2 who've scored 2. So to find that out, the number of teams that have scored less than 2 goals, we simply add up these here, okay, which gives us 13. Okay, similarly, the number of teams who scored less than 3 goals, 5 plus 6 plus 2 plus 3, is going to give me 16. The number of teams who scored less than 4 goals, 18, and the number of teams who scored less than 5 goals is going to be 20. That's right. I mean, the last value in the cumulative frequency column should always be the total number of pieces of data that you've got. Okay, so that's reassuring. That's 20. That tells us that we're doing something right. Now, what we want to do is to find out of these 20 values, which one represents the median. Okay, and to do that, we simply, for the median value, we simply take the 20 values and divide them by 2, which tells us that the median value we're looking for is going to be the 10th value. Okay, so where does the 10th value lie? Well, if the first 5 lie here and the first 11 lie here, the 10th must be somewhere in between these two. In other words, the median must be 1 goal, okay, because the 10th value lies somewhere in between the 5th and the 11th, okay, in this group here. So let's do the same similar sort of thing now for the quartile. So let's start off with the lower quartile. Well, we're going to take the 20 values that we've got, and this time we're going to divide by 4, and that tells me that the lower quartile will be the 5th value. So where does the 5th value lie? Well, the first 5 values lie here. Okay, the 5th one is in this particular group here, which tells me that this must be the lower quartile. Now the upper quartile, I'm going to take the 20 values, divide them by 4, and times by 3. That gives me the 15th value, represents the upper quartile. So where does the 15th value lie? Well, up to 2 goals is 13, up to 3 is 16. That tells me the 15th value lies somewhere in between here. Therefore, the 15th value must be here, 3 goals. And that is essentially what we do. We find out, we take the total number of pieces of data, divide by 2 to find the median value, divide by 4 to find the lower quartile, and divide by 4 times by 3 to find the upper quartile value, and then just use the cumulative frequency to find out what those values are. Now, this is what we are looking to do today. So let's look at this example then. The frequency table shows the times taken to the nearest minute by runners in athletic team A to complete a 3.75 kilometre race. So we have to find the median and range, find the upper and lower quartiles, and draw a box plot to show the summary statistics. And we can expect to make a comparison perhaps with another team at the end of it all. So the cumulative frequency then is our running total. So we've got the first value there, 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. 2 plus 3 plus 5 is 10. 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4 is 14. I carry on like that, 17, 19, 19, and 20. And just to confirm, we would expect our cumulative frequency to add up to 20 if there are 20 runners, and if we find the sum of the frequencies, indeed that does come to 20 as well. Okay, so that tells us that we've calculated our cumulative frequency column correctly. Now, to find the range, that's an easy one to start off with. Okay, remember we look to the data when we're finding the range, not the frequencies. So that tells me the range is going to be 30, take away 23. Okay, is a range of 7 minutes. Well, I'm also asked to find the median. Now there are 20 values here. So for the median, I would expect the median value to be 20 divided by 2. It's going to be the 10th value. Okay, so where does the 10th value occur? The 10th value occurs right here. Okay, so between 5 and 10, the 10th value, which tells me that this value here must be the median, 25 minutes. So the median is equal to 25 minutes. Similar idea here then for the upper and lower quartiles. Well, the upper quartile is going to be 20 divided by 4 times 3. 20 divided by 4 is 5, times by 3 is the 15th value. So let's find where the 15th value lies. Well, the 15th value lies between 14th and 17th. So the upper quartile must be 27. The lower quartile, which I probably should have done first, 20 over 4 is equal to the 5th value. So where does the 5th value lie? Okay, well, I can see here the 5th value lies in between 2 and 5. Therefore, this one here is going to be the lower quartile. So the lower quartile is equal to 24 minutes. Now what we want to do now is take those values, those summary statistics that we found, and use them to draw a box plot. Okay, so I'll plot these in one at a time. So we have the median, which is equal to 25, the upper quartile, which is equal to 27, lower quartile was equal to 24, The lowest value was 23 and the highest value was 30, which is here. Let's join them up with horizontal lines here to turn it into a proper box plot. And hence now we want to compare the two teams A and B that have run this. Okay, so remember, to make a comparison we need to do two things. We need a measure of location and a measure of spread, and the measure of location is an average of some description. Well, we found the median, so we're going to use that. So we can say that on average, team B is quicker than team A by over 1 minute. Okay, so looking at the medians, that's 25. This one here is about 23.5 maybe. Certainly less than 24. So we can say that on average, team B is quicker than team A by over 1 minute. However, we also need a measure of spread. So this time I'm going to use the range. And I might say that looking at this from comparing the ranges, that the times for team B are more varied than team A. And that's the question completed.